Well, this is going to be the first Thoughtbox for the new year. 2011, huh? Crazy. Uh, I wasn't sure at first what I was going to talk about, but while setting the mic up and the audacity and all that stuff, I was thinking, you know what? I'm going to talk about trust because I have trust issues, and some other people I know do as well. Trust is a funny thing. There's the old question about who do you trust? And take a step back from that and says, why do you trust the people that you trust? It's a decision. It's a choice. It's a choice made in faith, really. Because people are flaky. I mean, I'm flaky. You know? And I'm not just saying because I'm flaky everyone else is, but I'm just saying, people who know me, I'm pretty dependable, but even I, every now and then, flake out. That's just what it is. And so I'm saying, if someone like me can, imagine someone who doesn't really care about people depending on them or whatever. But why do they trust people? Did they prove to us that they're trustworthy? Did they do what they say they're going to do a couple of times? What happens when they don't? We give them a pass, right? Usually, if you're just a normal person, usually, they flaked out, they fell on this. Someone who has trust issues now, and that happens now, that's a whole serious thing. It's like, this person, I can't trust him anymore, da, da, da. And it's funny. It's funny because it's arbitrary at the end of the day. And it's funny that for me, I do a lot of the things and don't do a lot of things that I do based on trust, and it's so stupid. It's a song I have. It's called "Silly," and it's so true. We're silly, We're really silly creatures. I look at it like this. If you can read people, you know what you can say to them, even what you can do, but let's just stick with words. You know what you can say to them to get the desired response. It's easy. It's really easy, actually, to manipulate people. Yeah, it is. You don't do it now, at least not for like bad quote unquote reasons. You don't do it, but it's easy. Okay. I look at it like video games, for example. That's I know it seems like a non sequitur, but video games. The way you beat a game is to do what the developer wants you to do. With rare exceptions, there's exceptions, but with rare exception, the way to beat the game is to do what the developer intended, which they want you to do, to beat the thing that they designed. That's what it is. People are the same way. They want to do whatever it is they want to do. So you need to be like enabled to do it. You just need to say the right words, say the right code to unlock their safe, to do whatever you want to do, for them to do whatever they want to do. So, and a side note, looks help with this, because you could bypass a lot of that stuff. But even then, there's certain things you need to say and do that the person wants you to do to pass the level, so to say, to extend the metaphor. And it makes you wonder, like, well, if it's like that, why trust? What's there to trust? You either you trust everyone, or you don't trust anyone. There's really not really a middle ground, a median there. It really isn't. Because no one's special in terms of they do what they say or they mean what they say, whatever. I mean, everyone's human. Everyone falls and stuff. Everyone say what they don't mean, at least some of the times. Even the ones who try and be truthful, like me. You be diplomatic. That's the diplomatic way of saying it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This topic popped in my head because I was thinking of a situation I had with a friend of mine, and like our friendship really stagnated now. Equally, I think. Um, and it's trust stuff that went into it. And I just sitting there thinking the last couple of days, wow, it's so silly. It's so silly. And it's perception as well. Trust and perception intertwine. Because, like for me, right? Something happened one day, and I was like, "Oh, see, this is exactly the thing I was worried about," and da da da, and all this nonsense. And it was perception. It's perception, and that perception, a false perception of what happened, led to me mistrusting, and made me like take a step back in a bad way. And then that triggered the same response in her more than likely because we're a lot alike. And it's and so now she reciprocated, and now we further apart than ever. It's funny. It's so funny how things fall apart for no reason. For no reason. And now in my defense now you say, oh well, that's on you. It is, but in my defense now, the reason I even entertained, because I was kind of past that, I was like, the reason I really entertained the mistrust was how she's coming at me was like, whatever. And me now, I have abandonment and all this stuff issues as well. So when someone approached me like that, it's like, oh well, okay, whatever for me, do then. Screw it. I'm not going. I'm not going to invest in something like that. You can go to hell with that. And so she was coming out kind of weird to me anyway. And then that's the straw that broke the camel's back and all that. And I was like, oh, okay, well, screw it then. So it wasn't just all me. It wasn't just out of the blue craziness on my part, as it usually is. I was talking. This is real. I know this is like way off the topic, but I was talking to another friend of mine who I didn't talk to for a long time, and I was telling her about the situation, a little bit about it, not in depth. And she said, just nonchalantly, it's like, you're not doing the same thing you always do, huh? Of like running away from things when they get kind of serious. And I know what she alluding to. Our situation. But, I mean, our situation was kind of different, kind of not like that. It wasn't as if I was, like, really into her, and then, like, she reciprocated, and then that scared me off. No, I was completely over her at this point, and then out of the blue, she comes talking about she liked me, whatever, and I was like, oh wow, I caught flat-footed. I thought we were friends this past couple of years. What? So that's what that was. But she does have a point. She does have a point. In general, I do not I disengage, I guess. Not necessarily out of fear, It's there now, don't get me wrong. Not of commitment though. Of intimacy. See, that's the thing. I yearn for it, but I'm afraid of it as well. Now, I usually get over that. And other things happen to make it fall apart. But it's there initially always. I have to overcome it. Anyway, back to trust. People trust me. And with good reason. I'm a pretty okay person, I think. People seem to like me. People seem to trust me. Confide in me and all this stuff. And I haven't betrayed their trust yet. I don't think I've betrayed anyone's trust so far. But it's just funny how arbitrary it is. 'Cause, I mean, I could just tonight. I could just all the laundry and stuff. Just let it out there and do whatever. I mean, I can't. I never will. I never will. But I can. But it's just funny how much trust is put in me, and how much trust I have in other. Well, how much trust I have in other people. Now I do, but I don't. I don't trust anyone, really, and I've been proven right every time up until this point. Then again, you find what you look for. So But yeah, I mean, this might actually be my shortest on record Thoughtbox, because there's not much to really talk about like that. It's just popped in my head about trust and about how arbitrary it is, and how many things we overlook, cancel out, destroy, build, rebuild, you know, create, all these things, good and bad, based off such an arbitrary thing. Because really, who do you trust? Why do you trust them? Very serious questions to ask ourselves. Very serious questions. But yeah, I'm in the mood to record. So I'm gonna record other things. But on this topic, I'm pretty much done. So later.